So today I've got 4 stock updates for you guys. So we're going to talk about a couple of stocks here, spend 4 or 5 minutes on each of these stocks and give you some new stories that happen with them, because yeah, there's some new stories come out of them, and that's why the stocks are moving. Some of them are moving up in a positive way, and some of them are moving in a bit more of a negative way. So hope you enjoyed the video. Just to let you know, on the Patreon as well, I did just drop an exclusive video over the weekend, which was a stock request. This is where members of the private group vote for me to take a look at a stock, and very much talked about one at the moment, which is Wise, and it was certainly an interesting one. So if you do want to go see that video, it's out there for you guys that are on the private group, the Patreon or the Discord. And as well as that, if you just want to see the video, you can actually pay to just see the video. I think it's like £3. So yeah, if you do want to support the YouTube channel, there you go. And there's some my gift back to you guys for supporting the YouTube channel. So first of all, let's start with number one, the most interesting one that happened in the last 24 hours. Well, as last say 24 hours, it kind of followed on from the event that AMD did over the weekend, but then on the Monday, clearly the market seemed to like the event that they did over the weekend, as the stock rallied up over 8.8%, let's call it 9%. 9% rally for AMD, which is really nice. And yeah, we're in the positive on AMD now. And you know what, I'm not going to lie, I was looking at some of the information from this event that they had over the weekend, and I was sat there going, I think I should have maybe bought some more shares in this. Well, not maybe bought some shares in it, but because it's already quite a large position. I think it's broken into my top 5 holdings, but maybe this stock is actually going to do even better than what I originally thought, which is obviously a really good thing. But yeah, what I'm taking away at the moment from AMD is like, this could actually do even better than what I was thinking originally, which is obviously really exciting. Don't know if you've seen what happened over the weekend with the AMD event that happened. A good summary on Seeking Alpha here. Seeking Alphas are great for US stocks if you don't use it. I've actually got a discount code for these guys in the link in the description area as well. Very good for US stocks. A great summary on this article here about what happened. I'm just going to pick out some of the highlights to you rather than just read it all at you. So the MI350, obviously with a little bit more detail about what was going on with that product. That's the game changer. That's the first product that AMD are going to have, which is really going to start competing with NVIDIA. And the exciting thing with AMD is, like, if you look at the last earnings are actually really good. And that's without them having any competition or a product that's like very competitive to NVIDIA yet. But we've just got it. What we have at the moment is the MI350X and the MI355. They are now really going to start competing with NVIDIA, which is like, okay, AMD have been doing these results while being behind NVIDIA, but now they've got products that are just as good as NVIDIA. This is going to be really exciting where it goes. And then obviously we have the MI400, but obviously we get that next year, so that's something to look forward into 2026. But you can see completely direct with NVIDIA, with hyperscale deals. They did talk about the MI350 here, and they said that the MI350 on AMD's own testing, which is important to point out, it's their own testing, shows that MI350 beats Blackwell on many benchmarks, as you can see here, and also a comparison there of the MI355X as well. So yeah, this is going to be, the gap is starting to close a lot more now between AMD and NVIDIA. AMD obviously want to get in this AI space. I mean, if you look at the potential for this data center AI TAM growth here from 2023 to where they're expecting it to go in 2028, they're expecting a 60% CAGR, a 45 billion TAM to a 500 billion TAM. And if AMD are only able to get, like, I don't know, 10% of that there, I mean, that's going to be, so good for them as well. So it shows you the potential of this market that's going to be coming up as well. Once again, they talked about the MI400, the MI355, and they talked about the MI400. They released the first couple of details there, which were the first ever rack scale solutions that they're going to be offering as well. And at the moment, it says that the MI400 is expected to beat NVIDIA's Rubin GPU system by at least 1.5x on memory and memory bandwidth as well. But obviously, we'll probably get more details when that comes out next year. Now, ultimately, it's exciting. Like AMD, a lot of people, when I started buying AMD, nobody wanted to buy AMD, advanced money destroyer. And so many people are saying, why buy AMD when you got NVIDIA? Well, we're starting to see it a little bit now. AMD at the moment is, at the time, it was massively cheaper than NVIDIA. Not as much now, the stock's kind of rallied up a little bit, but it was massively cheaper than NVIDIA. The numbers are still very good and growing, and this is without them closing the gap on NVIDIA now. And now the gap is closing. Imagine what numbers AMD are going to do. And the big difference is that and people miss this all the time, is that this semiconductor space goes in cycles. So what we see at the moment is, in my opinion, Nvidia's kind of towards the top of the cycle. Like, it's already taken a lot of growth at the moment, whereas AMD for the last kind of few years has kind of not done anything. It's not benefited from this AI situation, but now it's going to, and it's going to give everyone another option rather than just going to Nvidia. We can go to AMD and get just as good products and even better products from AMD than Nvidia. And just to show you like the cycle difference, right? If you look at the likes of Nvidia now, for Nvidia to grow 20% on, let's call it 2025's numbers, that company's got to grow at 26 billion, right? If you look at AMD, what they would have to grow at 20% a year, they would have to grow at 5 billion to grow at 20% a year. And if you look at what we said about Nvidia, they're having to grow at 26 billion a year. Well, if you look at AMD, AMD's current whole revenue is 25 billion. Now, if they can compete directly with Nvidia, and also now AMD is able to get this 26 billion a year, that's going to double their revenue up. And if it doubles the revenue up, I'm pretty sure it's going to start more than doubling the profit up as well. So this is what I mean by AMD, and this is what so many people weren't really getting the message of, is that what Nvidia has to do now to grow at 20%, if AMD can match that, that's double the revenue for AMD. Now, I've got no forecasting of that happening right now with AMD, but it shows you like the potential that AMD has and how much easier now it's for AMD to grow at these levels. Now it's got competitive products with Nvidia compared to what Nvidia have to do right now. So yeah, really good for AMD. Really excited about that one. B&M. So we're going to talk about B&M. I've had a lot of questions about B&M, and I always say, like, I can't really give you, people ask me to talk about it, but from when I've last talked about it, there's not really that much information about it. So I don't really want to cover the same information that I've already covered on another YouTube video. Obviously, the reason why people want me to cover it is because the stock is down, and everyone's kind of like, "Well, what's going on?" Panic modes, and what's kind of going on here. Just a quick recap on the previous video that I made on B&M, which was about 2 weeks ago. I thought the last update, it was. Where's the full year results from B&M here? So the full year results here, the numbers, not amazing reading, but there's nothing new here. It's exactly what we knew 2 months ago. I thought the stock would go down 5-10% on the day with these results coming out, as everyone kind of went, these numbers aren't great, but we kind of knew it. When we do look at those results, revenue was about where we expected it to be. EBITDA was actually ahead of where we expected it to be. Net debt was slightly more than what we're probably hoping for, and EPS was maybe slightly behind what we were hoping for, but there's no shockers there. And I think I said to you, I can't remember if it was you guys or on the private group, I said, I expect these to go down like 5%, maybe 10%, because people go, you know what, we kind of knew the numbers, but when you see it all in the report, you're like, it's not amazing. So I was expecting like that drop, but the fact that we've gone down 23%, I don't think we should have gone down 23%. And the fact that we do have B&M down at the £2.60, £2.50 range again is just crazy. I think I remember when the initial results came out, I was like, I'm not going to buy unless it gets back down to £2.50, £2.60. Half me kind of think, I don't think it's going to get down there, but it has done. So it has retraced that far. What I will say is that, quite often people say to me like, I was taking a bit of profit out of B&M during this time frame, and people are like, why are you just taking 10% profit out on the stock? And I was like, well, I'm up on the position, I've been buying it. I want to just make sure that if the stock goes down, I took a bit of profit, I can buy more shares and use the profit that I've taken from the position to put back into it. And then there you go. So overall I'm quite happy because I've actually still made a bit of money over this year on B&M, and now the stock has gone down. And, that money that I've made gives me options to go back in and buy in, which I am. I'll let you know I am actually back buying B&M at the moment. And overall, I don't think the results should have gone down. Overall, the stock should have gone down as much as what it has done on these results. I mean, overall, B&M, like, even if the stock does like nothing for the next 5 years, my thinking with B&M is that I still walk away with like a 5% dividend yield, which is still okay. 5 years time, that's 25% return. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's okay. Then if you start including special dividends, with the special dividends on top, that's 10% yield. You walk away with a 50% return. It's not too bad for a stock staying stagnant. And I'm sure with B&M, if the profit and revenue stays the same, which I'm sure you'd think it would do, because as they open up these new stores, and let's say the other stores, the sales continue just to decline slightly, the profit declines slightly, you'd hope that the new stores would just keep the revenue and profit flat. But ultimately, I think that the sales will, pick up through the current stores and the new stores, and will do even better than a 25-50% return. I would say that ideally, I would like probably B&M not to probably do the special dividend for the next kind of couple of years and just pay the debt down slightly. We'll see if management is if that is what they do. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But the news with B&M is actually quite positive, and the stock is up today around about 2% as I record this video here. I would actually think that B&M would actually probably be up more today. I was quite surprised it wasn't up more. The reason why is because the new CEO has come in now and is running the business. And he also bought a good chunk of shares. If you look at the purchases he made over the last couple of days, so the 10th, the 11th, the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th, yeah, big chunky buys as you can see here, and that totals around about 500,000, which is, yeah, 500,000 is a very significant amount, because when you do look at the B&M stock, yeah, it's 2.6 billion. So yeah, really chunky buys. So that's a really positive. To be putting that much in, I really thought the stock would have rallied a bit more than what it has done. But obviously that's big conviction there, and that kind of went, you know what? If you're giving that conviction to buy it, I'm gonna come in and buy it as well. And I do look at B&M, and with the CEO buying now, I think I said to you guys when these full results came out, there was no mention of Q1 in these results and how the current trading is, and that surprised me a little bit, because I thought they would do, and they haven't. Because one of the things that I was thinking about the Q1 guide is that obviously that would fall, I think for these guys it's April and May so far, and in my opinion, when you look at April and May, they've been, and so far into June as well, the last 3 months have been absolutely amazing for like the UK and UK weather and the high street footfall. I think I showed you guys like a few reports, and retail sales are up very much in like these last 3 months because of the warm weather, and especially when we get the warm weather as well, like people go to like the likes of B&M, and obviously B&M have a lot of these garden centres. I think about 200 of the stores have like garden centres, so I'm sure they're doing really well as well. So I thought they would mention it, and they haven't mentioned it. So I'm looking and thinking, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think I mentioned it last time. I feel like when I look at B&M, I think Q1 will be the bottom of the stock, because I think they're going to post a good Q1. I think we'll see like sales up, which a lot of people have been using as a negative for this stock at the moment. The CEO's bought in as well, which kind of gives you the confidence that Q1's going to be good. And yeah, you look at the numbers here. I mean, the company's going to be on 7 times forward earnings. I mean, when you look at risk to reward point of view, I know B&M has got problems at the moment where the numbers haven't been the best, but I think Q1 will be strong. The CEO's buying, and now you're looking at 7 times earnings, and I mean 7 times earnings. I mean most retailers are 12, 13 times earnings, and you got a really chunky dividend here. I think B&M is like 6% profit margins, and when you look at like Tesco's, Marks and Spencer's, they're like half of B&M's profit margins. It's a very profitable company for a retail company, and it just looks way too low for me, way too low. So yeah, I am at the moment actually buying B&M at the moment. Move us on to number 3, Evolution. So Evolution's had a tough time the last kind of year today, down 16%. I'm down about close to maybe 16, maybe a little higher percent on this position right now. Love the dividend as well on this one, but the stock's had a tough time. The last report was very poor, but what has happened with this one as well, funny enough, is the CEO of this company has come in and bought some shares, as you can see here, around about 67 million in the Swedish currency, which if we do switch to US dollars is around about 7 million, which, to be fair, if you look at the CEO's actual compensation, he gets paid about 3 million, so he's got paid over 2 years' salary is bought in stock, which is a real confidence sign. The only thing I was saying on the Discord the other day is that I believe that he actually did buy some shares a year ago, and obviously maybe they haven't worked out that well. So maybe just be aware that last time he did buy some shares, it hasn't rallied that much since then. But obviously this is quite a significant buy, to be fair, and the market liked it, and the market sent Evolution up 8%. In the last kind of couple of days because of this insider buy. I've not actually been buying it that much at the moment. I just thought the last update was really poor, and I want to kind of, on the 17th of July we get the interim results and we get Q2, so I kind of want to see what's happening there, see how things are getting on. Are they getting worse? Obviously, they always said that the back end of the year would be where it gets better, but I kind of want a bit more information because it did really surprise me how poor that last update were. And I want to get a bit more information about what's kind of going on really at the moment, and then I'll kind of decide where I go from there. But I've seen a lot of people being quite negative on evolution, and I think like one thing that people are not putting into context here is that this is 11 times earnings now, and I've seen people be really negative on it, like, oh, the growth's going. Yeah, it might be going, but 11 times earnings, you don't need that much growth now. That's the thing. And if you do look at the 2026 numbers, if they do sort out this cyber attack situation that's going on at the moment in China, and that we do get an iGaming state that comes online, it's not impossible for very quickly for this to turn around. If you do look at 2025 numbers, and if they do what's forecast for 2026, that's pretty impressive growth. And if they do the EPS that's expected as well, and it does drop down to like 10 times earnings, I tell you what, if they hit those numbers, boom, that share price will double. But I just if they hit it, that's the thing, and they're going to resolve it, and that's what I'm kind of waiting for, to get confidence to see if they are going to resolve the issues ultimately. Number 4, the last stock on the list, Hims and Hers. Good day from Hims and Hers yesterday. Great day in my portfolio, to be fair. I think my portfolio was up over 3%, which was really good. Hims and Hers was flying. DraftKings was flying, SoFi flying. But yeah, really good day, up 7%. I wonder if we're finally going to get a little short squeeze to push all these shorts out at the moment. But they announced something. So there's going to be a new product coming out on the 18th of June, so tomorrow. Looking at what it is, it's on the Hers page, and looking at kind of like the texture, to me, kind of looks like one of these kind of what they have on the Hims side. One of these gummies, these chewies that they have at the moment. So I'm assuming it's going to be something like that they're going to be bringing out, to be fair. So yeah, new product that's probably going to get announced on Hims and Hers tomorrow, which will be really good. And once again, expanding the range, and the market seems to like the announcement of that as Hims and Hers continue to scale. So that was a bit of a short one, but just wanted to show you that one. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But yeah, those are the 4 stock updates for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts on any of these stocks as well, guys. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you in a bit.